previously only had like 3 advertisement posts out of like all the video posts I made. Like one is for trip.com, like because trip.com is the kind of app that I myself use a lot. So that's why I'm pretty okay with like making a video to promote trip.com. And also they say that if I post a video for them, they also could offer some discount for people who see this post, which is terrific, right? And the second one is a restaurant here in Shanghai, which I personally really like. Like I really like the pizza. The kind of pizza they offer is the kind of pizza that blends the flavor of Chinese dishes and together with Mediterranean dishes. So pretty like very good as well. So apart from that, like the very recent one is a postpartum confinement center in China, because postpartum confinement is a pretty good tradition here in China. So that's why like I feel like yeah, maybe it's also a good idea to just share our culture to the rest of the world. So that's why to tell like people I feel like how yeah, does our confinement center works share and our also culture at the very same to the rest of the world. So that's why tell like, people like, how yeah, does our confinement center works. So to be honest, did not learn a lot from all of that. Just tell people you could say that mostly out of fun. So to be honest, did not learn a lot. I shared yesterday about the reason why you could say that mostly out of fun. So to be honest, like what happened I shared in January, and then later on how was you could say that mostly out of fun. So to be honest, like what happened I shared in January, and then later on how was okay. How about now, my friend? How about now? It should be all good because last time we figured out, I now know what's the problem behind that. So it should be all okay now, my friend. Is it all okay now? Yeah, better. Yeah. So the reason behind that is because I turn on something. Okay. Yeah, because I turned on the voice in the website of TikTok. So that's where I'm gonna read all the comments. Yeah, I'm gonna read all the comments. Okay, yeah. Took a bit of time to set up everything, and now everything is all good. Yeah. How are you guys? How are everyone? Good to see all of you again. Okay. Yeah. All right, people, as usual, so this live stream is about this live stream is about me, about China. So if any one of you guys have any questions about China, like on this paper fan, like I have showed this paper fan multiple times in my live stream. And I really like play with this fan while I talk. So somehow it's already broken a little bit in here. A little bit in here already broken. Yeah, but anyhow, you guys see it here, okay? Just on this paper fan, if any one of you guys have any question about China or have any questions about myself, it would be great to just send the question in the comment area. I love to answer all the questions you guys have, okay? Yeah, so I'm 100% Chinese and I was born in China, well, in Shanghai specifically, and later on grew up in China, in Shanghai as well, and went to university here in Shanghai, and later on had lots of overseas work experience, also global elite school education experience. So that's a little bit about myself. So that's why like I can speak pretty good English to answer all the questions people have about China. So even though I have been doing this live stream for such a long time, like since January, right? Like for 3 months, but every day we've been talking about different topics. So like it looks like I'm so proud and so glad to be born in the country of China. This is a country that is rich in so many things, right? In culture, in philosophy, in history, in food, in natural sceneries, literally just like rich in everything. So that's why, like, no matter how long I do this live stream, there are just plenty of things that we can discuss about. And also because now China has also become one of the most powerful country in the world, right? Given what's going on, like in the world, like just a lot of things have we can have some discussion in here. Yeah. So anything about China or anything about myself, if you have any questions in here, just sending the question in the comment area, and I'd be happy to answer all of them. Yeah. Okay. So people start to sending very good questions, very interesting questions. Okay. Yeah. So some easy question first. Like the first easy question is, are you married? I am, my friend. I am. Yeah, so like unfortunately, I'm not available. Yeah. Ah, okay. Question. Why in Wuhanese accent people say 牛奶 instead of 牛奶? You're being so funny, okay? I'm not from Wuhan. Okay, but that is a good question. So we actually you opened a topic that is really worth talking about. So like in the US, like China has so many different places that has their own very unique accent. I'm not so sure if also happens in your country. I know there are plenty of people from different countries. For example, like for some areas, because their local dialect has some pronunciation that does not that is not the same as the like standard Mandarin. For example, someone raises question, like for example, in like Wuhan, which is a city in China, the people there, local dialects does not have like N and L sound. Like everything is just basically an L. Like for example, like Nike is also like, right? So basically only have the very same sound. So that's why like when they pronounce everything in Mandarin, they can also not be able to tell the difference between L and N. Like, is there any same similar problems with your countries as well? Like for example, here in like also for Chinese people, when we learn English, we would also have similar problems because the kind of mindset is like you how you when you learn a foreign language, it's all about translating your mother tongue into a new language, right? So the first language people learn is their mother tongue, for example, their local dialects. They start from the local dialects because their parents would talk to them using local dialects, and then starting from the local dialects, then they would learn like standard Mandarin, and also later on learn English and any other languages. So for example, in Chinese, I have said multiple times before that our pronunciation of he, she, it is basically the same, even though the writing is very different. It's not like a lot different, but some difference in the writing. So like he, she, it, all of them are pronounced as ta. So that's why like a lot of Chinese people, you would notice when they speak English that they cannot tell the difference between he, she, it. Like whenever it is a time to say he, like sometimes people just say she or say it. Whenever it's the time to say it, people would just say he and she. So like just a lot of difficulty for people to tell like what's the difference between he, she, it. I would have this problem as well myself. Disillusion 没有 like 是不能说话了吗？那你能不能好好说话？每个人说话都有他自己的习惯。如果你想要提一个意见，让我讲说在说话的过程当中尽量减少 like，那你也可以好好的去提这个意见，对不对？你可以说，哎，可以少说一些 like 哦，like 说的有点多。但是这样的一种表达方式，是不是你自己本身也不太有礼貌了？什么叫做没有 like 就不能说话了？你说是不是？OK，但是这是一个很好的建议哈。那之后的话，我会尽可能的避免，因为毕竟现在早上很早，也刚刚睡醒没有多久，所以很多时候大脑会反应不过来，会使用一些词来帮助我更好的过渡。毕竟英文并不是我的母语，好吗？OK，Yeah. So okay, that's for the first question. Let me see what's the other question. How different is the Sichuan dialect? Sichuan dialect is different, like different kind of dialects here in China is like very different. So Sichuan dialect, some people feel like Sichuan dialect is easier to understand because lots of the sounds are very similar to Mandarin. It's just the tone is very different. But still, like I would find it's quite hard to understand. Like I've been to Sichuan several times before. They have like Sichuan dialects, but at the same time, they would also have like Sichuan Mandarin. And they say like Sichuan Mandarin is easier to understand. However, I don't find it very easy to understand. Yeah. Okay. What is special about living in China, George? Are you thinking about living in China, my friend? Are you thinking about living in China? How many of you guys are thinking about living in China? Since TikTok banned in January, so many people have flooded to Red Note. And so interesting, like after people and flooded to Red Note and have the very direct interaction with the Chinese people and notice that Chinese people are really friendly, Chinese people are really polite, and Chinese people can be so funny and has such a strong sense of humor. And also seeing so many Chinese people post their daily lives. The life is like just so good, right? We have so many high-tech stuff and everything is so convenient here. Afterwards, so many people just come in and say, like, you know what? I want to move to China. Do you have any advice for me to come and move in China? So many people just say that. Yeah. Should one overly worry about tones when learning Chinese? You should, my friend. Because learning Chinese is about learning the tones. The tones is like very hard, but many of the words, the reason why they mean different things is just because they are pronounced in different tones. So, for example, when you say, let me think about an example. When you say 是, it means yes. But when you say 十, it means 10. So the pronunciation both are sh, but when you pronounce shi, the fourth sound, the fourth tone, it means yes. But when you pronounce it in the second tone, which is shi, it means 10. So even though they pronounce it the very same, but then when you have like different tones, it can mean very different thing. So you should be overly worried about the tones when you are learning Mandarin. So yeah. I want to visit there. Yeah, just come then. Charlie, where are you from, my friend? On a side note, you're very beautiful. Thank you, Gemma. Have you guys followed me? Have you guys followed me? Mhm. Sounds amazing. You seem to have a special passion for Chinese women. User 3186, long numbers afterwards. Sounds amazing. Yeah. I like living in the country area better. Yeah, different people just like different things. I like living in the city. I can only live in the country for a very small period of time to enjoy the serenity, just to enjoy a holiday period, right? To calm myself down, to enjoy the beautiful scenery. For example, just lie in bed and stay in the countryside for a week or two. And every day I'm just going to do meditation, do workout in there, like everything. However, if you say that, hey, can you be able to stay in a country area for long? For example, for 1 year, 2 years, just stay in the country area, then no, I'm definitely a city person because I'm absolutely an extrovert. I enjoy going out to talk to people and enjoy exploring different kind of activities, try new things. So one thing great about me is I always am happy to try something new, try something new. So having the live stream is something new for me, right? So that's why I enjoy doing it. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. What are you drinking right now? Some detox routine, okay? Whenever it's the summertime, it's a detox routine. So I told people recently I have started my like healthcare, personal healthcare kind of routine. So I have done a lot of things, like for example, rubbing my belly before going to sleep, and also gua sha, right? These are all like detox. So this is also a detox. So inside it, we have kiwi fruit. I have celery, kiwi fruit, and also pear and some water. So that's pretty much a detox routine for this morning. Yeah. To keep your body healthy. And I have to say, all of these actually works. How many of you guys have tried those kind of juices? And nowadays, because I have said that we have so many high tech stuff here in China, I bought a very new, small, like very lovely, very cute kind of blender. It's very easy to use. You just put all the things in it and plus some water, and then push the button, and we'll just blend everything and make into a very tasty juice. And it's very easy to clean. So we have all of those kind of small and very easy to use kind of technology kind of stuff here in China, and easy to order. Like I basically just ordered one day, and the very second day was delivered to my home. Yeah. Uh-huh. Hello, good morning. Good morning to you. Nitrix, you look so cute today. Thank you. T Kitty Talk Ghost. Yeah. Is this necklace new? So beautiful. Yeah, it's new. It's new. It's new here. Yeah. So I feel like this necklace goes very well with this t-shirt. Somehow the color really matches. Yeah. So to be honest, when you have a standalone look at this necklace, it's actually just mediocre. It's not so good. So pretty, like the other rest of the necklace I have, right? For example, this is a very beautiful necklace when you see it. Like, I think this is the kind of necklace that women really like, right? Somehow, like when you look at this t shirt, this necklace somehow just goes pretty well with this t shirt, color from this t shirt. Yeah. Hello, Vietnam. Hello, my friend from Vietnam. So healthy. Yes, I do have a very healthy routine. And also, one great thing about it, having live stream in the morning is because I have to do live stream, so I have this urge to wake up early, get up early every morning. So I usually just wake up at 7 a.m. and then tidy myself up, also do some hairs, like a little bit, tiny bit of makeup, and would start the live stream at 7:30. So starting from today, I decided to do something else. Decided to cook the breakfast and eat the breakfast before having the live stream because I want to have a very healthy routine. Every day after the live stream, I usually would only have my breakfast after the live stream. The problem with having breakfast after live stream is that I just don't have the energy to cook the breakfast myself. Then I would have to go downstairs to buy some breakfast that's usually just fried things, like not so healthy. So that's why like I decided to do the breakfast myself. Like my husband would also do some breakfast for me, but the problem with that is he did not wake up as early as I am. He did not have to do the live stream, so it's usually I have to wake up early. And whenever I start the live stream, I just don't want to eat breakfast. The problem with having live stream at the same time eating breakfast is whenever I started eating breakfast and stopped talking, the average number of people online just drops significantly. So that's why I feel like it would be better to have breakfast before the live stream and then drink this very healthy detox juice afterwards. 你是妮妮，你觉得像吗？你觉得像吗？很多人说其实挺像的啊，开个玩笑哈，在那个标题上面写，就是为了吸引你们能够进来看我非常有意思的直播间啊。嗯哼，Yeah. Let's see. I have a juicer. I like to use carrots, celeries, beets, ginger, and kale. Good. These are all very healthy things. Yeah. So carrots, celery, beets, these are all like ginger, all extremely good fruits. If you can blend all of that and drink it every day, these are a very good detox routine. Yeah. So somehow beets is very healthy somehow, but beets is like undervalued here in China. Like not lot of people would eat beets, but I personally really like it. How can I find a Chinese language friend? Oh, my friend, you have so many Chinese language friends here on this platform on RedNote. Everyone else is just basically Chinese, right? You can just make friends like very easily on RedNote. For example, you could just start talking to people in the live stream under the comment area. If you see someone who are making very interesting comments under the comment area who's Chinese, you could just start talking to them, right? And that's how you start making friends with all the Chinese people in here, right? Good girl, keep doing what you're doing is great choice. Yeah, I've been talking to a woman in Chengdu. What do you recommend to have a successful relationship? How do you know a woman in Chengdu? How do you know her? How do you know her, my friend? Now I'm very curious to know that how are you guys able to meet someone online? Oh, you met her on TikTok. I see you met on TikTok. Okay, so just a friendly reminder. Okay, so here in China, we would be extremely careful with meeting people online that people you do not know. Okay, so about developing relationships, just some tiny bit of my personal advice is you definitely need to know a lot more about this person before you want to be serious. You never know who are the person you're going to meet on this platform, and is that person also truly interested in you, or it's basically just because she wants your money? You really don't know. So definitely be very careful with that, okay? Just definitely be very careful with that. Meeting someone, dating someone online. So definitely ask lots of questions, cross verify whether this person is telling the truth. Well, if possible, especially under this kind of scenario where you just basically meet someone online and she's in Chengdu and you're in, I guess, US, right? It would be hard for you guys to meet in person. It would be a lot easier if you guys are able to meet in person. So when you see this person and able to talk to her in real, then you start to realize a lot of things she said is right or wrong, right? So we have heard lots of like very interesting stories that someone met someone else over the internet, and somehow, for example, a guy met a girl and really liked this girl and they've been chatting for a long time, and start from one moment this girl started to ask money from this guy, and somehow the guy was so deep in love with this girl, so he had no problems just sending money to this girl until one day he discovered that actually that girl is cheating him for the money. And later on, he called the police and somehow realized that the one he was falling in love with was actually not a girl at all, was a middle-aged man, something like that. It's pretty interesting. Yeah, so definitely be careful with everything, okay? Everything. However, after some like thorough understanding, thorough knowing about that person, and you realize that it's not like a cheat, it's not a fraud, then Sure, just take it seriously and maybe even come to China, pay a visit in here and try to visit her in person, right? So everything will then go smoothly from there, right? 每天都直播吗？几乎每天都直播，每天早上7点半到9点半，然后之后我就要开始一整天的工作啦。所以 this happens in the U.S. also, right? Yeah, I know that a lot of people. So nowadays, like there are even more people doing that because it's not in a very good economic cycle. So that's why a lot of people start to do that. Yeah, I really hate it. Yeah. It's our favorite TikTok live creator. Thank you, Copacabana. Good to see you again. Coming in here. Is pig butchering still a thing in China? What do you mean by pig butchering? Butchering. But I guess so because out of all the meat here in China, we eat pork most. We eat pork most, so that's why like when you have a lot of people eating pork, then for sure there would be pig butchering. They just won't say it because we'll stop guys sending them gifts. TikTok is crawling with these frosters. Yeah, perfect. I will follow you. Okay, thank you, Dai Xiaoshan. Yeah, and just welcome you to come to my live stream every day. And this is a family. Just so you know, this is a pretty close community. People in here, like, oh, also by the way, so you can also join my followers club. I forgot to show it in here. Yeah, I forgot to show it in here. Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah. So you will see on top of this on top of Red Note here, there is a followers chat group, okay? So you could also join in there. You would be able to find lots of people that are pretty interesting and happy to talk to you with very like-minded. Overall speaking, I consider people in my live stream to have somehow like overall speaking are pretty intelligent. So from time to time, I do see people sending in the comments area something like very interesting question first of all, and also whenever we start talking about some very interesting topics, I would also notice some people would start to show their opinions, which is very in depth, and also their knowledge. Lots of the knowledge is also like something I do not know and something pretty fascinating. Yeah, would you would notice there are so many people out in here are like extremely talented, extremely good at learning. Yeah, overall speaking, the community here is great. It's great. Yeah. Pork is great. You guys like it. TikTok is a money making app. TikTok is a money making app, but so is any other apps. So majority of the apps in the world are just money making, right? If not, then why on earth are they making an app, right? So they're making an app because they want to earn money. It's just that there must be a clear line, a moral standards. Like you want to make money, by the same time, you also don't want to people, you don't want people to like be bad or do bad things on your platform while you're be able to make money. So it's like a borderline, like how to keep the balance. On one side, you're able to make as much money as possible. On the other side, you need to make sure that people are not doing bad things to help you make money. So it's pretty hard. Yeah. Okay, Cantonese movies are viewed as the best films from China. How do you view that? Oh, actually, I would say like Hong Kong movies, not Cantonese movies. So if you're looking at 80s or 90s, that was the peak time for Hong Kong movies. You will notice there are so many Hong Kong movies out there that are so good. For example, Jackie Chan was during that period, right? Lots of the Jackie Chan's iconic movie, like the really good movies, was shot back then during 80s and 90s. So Jackie Chan was definitely the biggest star, but there are so many other great stars out there in the Hong Kong film industry. So from that sense, during that era, during that period of time, Hong Kong movie was definitely the best movies out of all the movies here in China. However, over the years, like the rest of the China also start to have like lots of movies, like very in depth, really good. The movie industry here in mainland China also developed a lot. So nowadays, I would not say like Hong Kong movie is the best movie in China because you start to see so many great directors and so many great, fun, fantastic one for actors and actors here coming from mainland China. And there are so many more great films that's from mainland China than Hong Kong. So I feel like, in my opinion, I feel like Hong Kong movie has passed its peak time. Now it's, not as good as usual as before. Yeah. Mhm. Some guys lost big to the fake love scam. Yeah, a lot of people. Not only in China, I guess also in the rest of the world. Yeah. Uh-huh. Bruce Lee was from Hong Kong, wasn't he? Yeah, yeah, he's also from Hong Kong. Yeah. Bruce Lee was before Jackie Chan. Yeah, older than Jackie Chan. Yeah. Yeah. Enjoy your conversation, sister. I will keep checking in. Good, good. Good to see you, sister Vinny. Have you guys followed me? Let me see. Many Brazilian TikTokers find love to take money from men online. Oh, okay, interesting. So here it's a lot of like Southeast Asian, or actually like they would just have some Chinese people go to Southeast Asian and start to do all that. Yeah, Zhang Yimou's Shadow is an amazing movie. Oh, you've watched Shadow. Well, to be honest, if you like Zhang Yimou, there are some other movies you should watch. So, for example, I think one of his most famous movie is actually not Shadow. It's actually a movie called 大红灯笼高高挂. Hong Deng Long. What's the name of this movie? Was something about like Red Lantern. That is a really, really good movie because that's a movie that discusses about the period of time in China. Um, we actually talk the very bad side of the Chinese society, like how women are treated so unfairly, something like that. Yeah, that's a pretty good movie. A very in-depth movie. I like it a lot. Yeah. Something called Red Lantern, something like that. Yeah. Let's see. What are the recent movies get darker in plot? Or it depends. Something called Red Lantern. Yeah, should definitely go search it. For example, Red Lantern plus Zhang Yimou. I'm pretty sure you'll be able to find the movie. I'm not so sure about the exact name, but somehow there is something around that. Just search for it. Yeah, that's a pretty good movie. Yeah. Also played by one of the most famous actress. She's also pretty famous worldwide, called Gong Li. Yeah. And Man is good movie. You guys like all the action movie, right? You guys like all the action movie. So like I also really like action movie because I grew up watching all the action movie by Jackie Chan. By Jackie Chan. Yeah, my dad was a huge fan of Jackie Chan. Yeah. Oh, you guys know her? You guys know Gong Li? You guys know her? Yeah. This is also interesting. Good, good. JV3. Oh, it's called Red Sorghum. Sorghum，不是红高粱，不是红高粱，no no no not that，那个红灯笼，红灯笼，红灯笼，就是那个电影里边有红灯笼的那个叫什么名字啊？No, no, not red sorghum. It's the other one. The other one. Recently watched Ash. Is the purest white from 贾樟柯. Great movie. Ash is the purest white. Oh, actually, I haven't watched that. Oh my god, there's so many foreigners who are very interested in knowing and watching Chinese movie. 就是叫大红灯笼高高挂嘛，我记得就叫大红灯笼高高挂。好，谢谢朋友宝子们，帮我查一下这个英文名叫什么好吗？大红灯笼高高挂的英文名，这个电影的英文名叫啥？帮我查一下好吗？Yeah, yeah. So the Chinese name for that movie is called 大红灯笼高高挂. Yeah, it's a pretty good movie, a very deep movie, a very deep movie. Yeah. Stephen Chow. Stephen Chow. Oh my God. Yeah, 哎，wait. Who's Stephen Chow? Stephen Chow 是周星驰吗？对对，Stephen Chow 是不是周星驰？周星驰不是红高粱是红高粱，红高粱是另外一部，大红灯笼高高挂是另外一部电影。Yeah. Would you think the Miss Gunny is less worse than in other East Asian country? Wait, what's Miss Gunny? What's Miss Gunny? What does this word mean, my friend? I need to look it up. I don't know what this word means. Miss Gunny? Stephen Chow, 周星驰嘛. But here, like, we call him in by Chinese name. We do not call him by his English name. So I was a little bit thinking, like, hey, who's Stephen Chow? Wait. That sounds a very familiar name. I'm pretty sure that is like Zhou Xingchi, like the very funny movie star, right? It's make all a very funny and interesting movie. 厌女症. Wait, what does Miss Gunny mean? It means like do not like daughters. Is that what you were saying? Wait, what do you mean by Miss Gunny? 厌女症. Why? Even though I translated into Chinese, I still don't quite understand what it means. I need to look it up. 厌女症是什么意思？厌女症，哦，对女性群体持有系统性偏见敌意，对女性能力价值的否定，通过语言强化歧视的存在。 Okay, yeah. So yesterday we discussed about like patriarchy, right? Wait, is it right word? Because yesterday people taught me about like matriarchy, right? Am I right about that? Patriarchy world. So especially in the patriarchy, so someone raised a pretty good question, which is Miss Gunny. Is it the right pronunciation? Okay, let me check if it's the right pronunciation. Misogyny. Okay, it's called misogyny, right? Okay. Someone asked me about misogyny. Okay. So just for Chinese people, if you guys don't know what misogyny is, it means 厌女症. So its definition of misogyny means that some people just dislike women and would think like women do not worth anything, something like that. Okay. You guys have a general concept of Miss wait, what's the pronunciation? Miss Johnny? Misogyny? Misogyny? Right? So someone raised this is a pretty good question. So like in my opinion, to be honest, there is a phenomenon like that. Well, I wouldn't say it's misog up to a point that's misogyny. It's overall speaking, I feel like in my opinion, I think the society here in China is still pretty patriarchal. People still value men more than women. So even though there are many talented women, like I said multiple times, right? For example, people's kind of general perception of women is that they should get married at very young age, like before 28. If you don't get married before 28, then you become the leftover woman, right? For example, these are pretty hostile to women, right? So these are like all very, I'd say like very bad phenomenons. Like I feel like this can also be considered as discrimination to women, right? And also when it comes to work, like when I first returned back to mainland China and look for jobs in here, it's pretty common for the headhunters to ask me questions like, "Hey, are you married? Oh, do you already have children? Oh, do you have plans to get pregnant?" Because your answer to all those questions gives them an impression that you are not married, but you're about to, and you will likely to have children in the next few years, then you will not be a good candidate for the job positions. Or like sometimes even though you're more qualified than some other people, just because you're a female at the kind of age that somehow is not so suitable to somehow you're suitable to have babies, then somehow you just cannot compete with other men for the jobs, even though they are like inferior to you. So overall speaking, that is the kind of phenomenon in here. Yeah. I think women would be happy if they married young. Call me a misogynist. Sorry, don't know how to pronounce that. Um, yes and no. Yes and no. Okay. So personally, I don't think like women should be get married too early, because when women get married too early at an age, it's usually out of urge, out of rush to get married, still haven't really figured out what are the things that they want. Lots of women get married, for example, at around 20, 21, 22, at the age that they even do not know what love is, and they do not know what family is, and they themselves are considered to be children, right? For example, looking back when I was 20, I was so not mature. I made so many mistakes, right? I had no idea what is right or wrong. And I have seen like friends who really regretted marrying their husband, but somehow because they already have children and also their financial, like all the financials are like so bounded together, it was so hard for them to divorce. So they're unhappy with the marriage, but somehow it's hard. It's a very toxic relationship. Somehow they couldn't get rid of the marriage. And they regretted getting married too early because back then when they were young, they did not know what's the things they are truly looking for. So they thought they wanted men like this, like that, and they do not have lots of experience dating and being with a man like that. So they thought this is the type of man I want. And they're so not mature. So they started fall in love with those kind of men and finally get in marriage with those kind of men. Afterwards, after marry for a long time, and then also during the whole marriage process, they themselves grow a lot, right? And after growing a lot, they also notice that, you know what, this is not something I want. I actually want something else. Instead of having someone who's very good looking, I think someone with sense of responsibility is more important. Instead of having someone who's like very successful, very aggressive when it comes to career, very ambitious, I actually do want someone who cares more about my family instead of someone who always just spend 100% of the time in the work and without any time to care for me and the children. So they start to realize what is most important in their life. And somehow they just regret it, marrying and get into a marriage with someone they used to think is the perfect fit. So, like for example, for me, I get married at a relatively later age compared to many other people, and I think that is good because after, well, the I also had a problem. There's also a reason why I was not able to get married early. It's because, to be honest, when I was young, I also did not know what's most important to me. So I want A and also B and C and also D. So I want the front side of the coin and also the back side of the coin as well. I want too many. So that's why there's no way for me to find a Mr. Perfect, right? There's no way that someone can be having every good quality, but at the same time just love you, right? Because I myself am not perfect. I'm not like perfect in every sense. So if I am not perfect, how am I able to find someone who is perfect? Or I would even doubt if there is a Mr. Perfect out there in the world, right? Nobody is perfect. Everyone would have some strength and some weaknesses. So like it was like took me a long time, a pretty long journey, quite a while to really figure out what is the most important thing to me. So I need to focus only most important things, ignore the rest of the things. Then I was able to find my Mr. Important, my Mr. Right, and happily get married. So still, I'm very happy to get married. However, for example, if I were little, for example, I was like too too in a rush to get married. For example, just due to the family kind of pressure, right? So nowadays, lots of girls they got the pressure from the families. That's why they got married. They did not get married because they want to get married or they found someone they truly love or they found someone they think is a good fit for them. Somehow it's just because of the big pressure by the family that they feel like, oh, yeah, maybe I'm about this age. Also, by the society, right? We have those kind of leftover women saying, like, many people feel like, oh, I'm already at this age. If I don't get married, then what happens to me? So somehow there are people that just rush into marriage without figuring out what is the most important thing they're looking for in a marriage, right? And without a deep understanding about who they themselves are, and they just get into the marriage. And the problem with that is somehow lots of problems would happen after that, and they did not understand, did not know, they're not mature enough to understand how to solve those problems, how to deal with relationships using a very high EQ way, right? We always say like marriage is something that you need to manage, right? You need to manage a relationship in the marriage so that you can be happily married. If you don't manage it, you just do everything according to your will, like whatever makes you happy without thinking about the other partner, then the relationship is just going to be toxic. You have no idea like why all of a sudden this person is unhappy, and that person is just going to feel like why you're always so selfish, right? It's actually a philosophy. Yeah, a relation is about two people deciding to constructing life, walking through life. Exactly. That is so well said, my friend. Yeah. Marriage is a compromise. Yeah. So there are so many saying about marriage, right? So some people say that, okay, by marrying someone, the other person completes me. I really don't like this kind of saying. I never feel like by marrying someone, the other person just complete you because everyone is complete. Everyone is independent, in my opinion. The fact that you're having someone else is that you choose to walk with this person for this journey of your life, right? Maybe just for one important part of journey, and maybe because you guys become so different after this journey, you would set apart and you would just walk the next journey with someone else. That is fine. However, you do have to enjoy this kind of journey with this person, and the person is basically just your company, not your other part. It's not like the person complete you. Like I really don't like the kind of saying. Yeah. I went to China. The people there were very racist to me. Oh, why? Where are you from, my friend? I don't think so. Like, where are you from? So you have to know, like, sometimes people are just not very racist. It's just that people are curious. I'm not so sure where you go. Okay, I'm not so where you go. Like, what's the kind of behaviors you experience? For example, is it because people stare a lot at you, or people just do some back pointing at you, something like that? So if that's what you're talking to, referring to as racism, so to be honest, like in my opinion, that's basically just culture difference. So probably you just go to a city, for example, that is not like very first tier, second tier. If you go to a third tier, fourth tier city, For example, some tourism area, but that somehow is considered to be a third tier, fourth tier city, where people have not seen a lot of foreigners before. Then whenever they see someone differently, right? For example, a foreigner that is black, white, whatever, like people would just be very curious about this person. So that's why they would just stare at this person a lot, or like point at this person, talk in the back, because they do not dare to come up to you and say, hey, hello, how are you? They would just say like, oh, look, there's a foreigner out there, you know? But that is actually not racism. That's just basically out of curiosity. And Chinese people, especially the elderly, can be quite blunt. They could even just ask you some questions that foreigners consider to be rude, but to them, it's just very okay kind of questions. Caucasian, yeah? What happens to Caucasian? 啊，能不能说慢点？好，行，说慢点。Yeah. When woman's told she never argue with her husband, I said there is something wrong. I agree. I agree. So a healthy relationship would have everything, right? So maybe it's also because the definition of argument is very different. So, for example, she probably reasoned with her husbands, just that she did not argue. For example, she's always very calm. Whenever her husband has a bit different opinion with her, she would reason, right, very logically and very patiently explain to her husband what's the problem in it. Then that should be okay. However, if it's that like she just always obey whatever her husband said and she never argue with his husband, then there's something wrong. There's definitely something wrong. She gives marriage advice even though she isn't married. Who are you talking about? I am married, my friend. I like Chinese tourists in my town. They take picture of everything, always laugh. Oh, really? Really? Yeah, there's also a very interesting saying in China that Chinese tourism, whenever they go out, they just do three things. Uh, when they are on the bus, they sleep. When they are off the bus, they take photos. When they are at tourism, oh wait, 上车睡觉，下车撒尿，一到景点就拍照，回家一问不知道。对对对。Okay, something like that, something like that. So okay, so on the bus they sleep, off the bus they go to toilet. When they arrive in tourist attraction, they take photos. When they go back home, they remember nothing, something like that. There's a very funny saying like that, yeah, for Chinese tourists. So that's why whenever they go, they just take lots of photos. Yeah. So also, I told you guys, right? 2 days ago, I went to the beach to watch fireworks, right? So when the fireworks was up in the sky, like everyone basically just took out their phone and just record the entire fireworks. So one problem with that is when everyone is just raising their hand and recording, holding their phone, recording everything, right? For the people in the behind, it's hard for them to watch the sky because the sky is covered by all the phones, right? And also so funny that like whenever you're recording, you basically just look at the screen instead of the real fireworks in the sky, right? But somehow that's something that Chinese people really like to do. Yeah. Hmm. Uh-huh. Let me see. What's the other thing you're talking about? Oh, okay. Remember someone asked me about wow, they asked very personal questions to women. What personal questions? 英文名对应中文的挂灯笼动作 raise the red lantern. No, I'm asking what's the Oh, so raise the red lantern is the official translation of 大红灯笼高高挂吗? Okay, so 大红灯笼高 the movie name of this 大红灯笼高高挂 by Zhang Yimou is called Raise the Red Lantern. Okay, interesting to know. Okay, my friend, you now know, right? That's the English name, Raise the Red Lantern. Yeah, just try search for it. That's a pretty good movie, a movie that I strongly recommend. Yeah. Let's see what the other question you guys asked. Uh-huh. What's the other questions you ask? 能不能说慢点？已经说慢点哦。英文学习经历可以聊一聊吗？可以呀，可以呀。学英文的话，其实这个我其实之前说过很多很多次。OK，我用英文讲好吗？英文讲你能听懂吗？我尽量讲慢一点。OK，我尽量讲慢一点。OK。So some Chinese friend asked me about my personal experience of learning English. So I'm pretty sure there are also people out there who wants to learn Chinese. So the kind of method of learning a new language can be quite how to say like can work also when it comes to other language. So I'm going to use English to reply to that question. Okay. So I remember back then when I studied English, I remember the biggest thing I remember was just reciting as many words as possible. Basically, just increase, expand my vocabulary base. That's so important. There's no way for you to talk to someone else if you do not even know the words to describe everything, right? So the very first thing is definitely to increase your vocabulary. So, like, if you don't think your English is good enough, then just try to recite as many words as possible. There's so many like vocabulary books out there. Just buy one of them and just start reciting every day. To be honest, like in my opinion, grammar doesn't really matter a lot because once you're able to have all those words, just throw those words out and do not worry about grammar. People would know, understand what you're talking about. For example, the other day I noticed some like Chinese friends typing in English in a pretty awkward way, like grammar is all wrong, but because they use the right English word, so I immediately get what they are asking, right? So, for example, are you Chinese? This is the right way to ask whether you are 中国人, right? Whether you are Chinese people, whether you are Chinese, right? Somehow someone asked me, are you or is you China people? So even though he asked everything in a grammatically wrong way, right? It should be are, it should not be is, but he said is you, right? And also instead of Chinese, he said China people, but I immediately get it. I get it, like he's asking whether I'm Chinese. So it's like to me, I feel like learning a new language is about first of all expanding your vocabulary base just by reciting as many words, English words as possible. Okay, as long as you have a lot of like vocabulary base, like whenever you want to talk about an apple, apple is the right English word. You want to talk about juice, juice is the right English word. Then you just start talking, and even though you use the wrong like grammar, that is okay. People still get you, understand you. Yeah, so that's basically what happens. Yeah. What are you guys talking about? Chong Chong Ching Wong Tong? What is that, my friend? What are you talking about? Yeah. Is that a vegetarian drink? Yes, that is a vegetarian drink, my friend. This is my detox drink. Inside it, there is celery, that is water, there is a kiwi fruit, um, there is also a pear. Yeah. Huh. um. Oh, okay. Yeah. Pata Top 95. Yeah, this guy should definitely be blocked as well, I think. So annoying. But somehow I cannot block anyone here because I'm using my laptop to live stream. But you guys can do this by if you guys think this person is not so good, you guys can report him. Yeah, I'm actually reporting him right now. Yeah. Yeah. If I drink these, I will run to toilet. Okay, so if you do that, then by English, by in Chinese standard, that means you don't have a very good stomach. Then you do have to take really good care of that. Just don't drink anything icy. Okay. What age do you start learning English? I started learning English at the age of 10, from starting from the third grade. Hello, this is Sparta. Yeah. It's not because I notice you whenever you say that. It's because that I'm actually looking like different screens. I am doing live stream on the multiple platforms. So it's just the moment I catch you when you say that. Okay. It's not because you say that I notice you. Okay. Yeah. So, but it's so funny. Like, what's so good about like, okay, so you just want to attract my attention? Is that what you want? Okay, so okay, getting my attention is like very important to you. If that is what you think, you can actually try something else. For example, on Reno, there is another great follower called Hoya. So one way of what he does is, for example, he would just really sending very positive kind of energy in the common area all the time. And whenever he sends in all the positive energy in the area, he type everything in capital letter, and that's how I'm able always to catch what he says in the common area. And also the other thing Hoya does is that he just constantly sending all the messages. So that is considered to be a great way. Well, I'm sure like he's not attracting my attention. He's basically just supporting this live stream, but somehow like the way he does it is like he does it in a very positive way, and at the very same time, every time he's sending all the messages that just successfully attract my attention. So if that is so something like you're looking for example, you just want me to read your comment, to reply to your comments, you could also do something like that, right? Just sending some positive, something positive, and you could just write everything in capital letters, and I'll be able to just catch your comments, right? Mhm. So if you keep on, why don't you read my comments then? I do, my friend. I do. You know it. From time to time, I read your comments. Yeah. Hmm. Here in the West, we don't have the positive way. We are filled with hatred. So that's the reason why I am here, right? Hopefully, I can send a lot of like positive energy to all of you guys, so like you guys can feel a lot more positive energy in here. Yeah. Hmm. Good evening, Nitrix. Today, you're more beautiful. Thank you, my friend. Yeah. I feel like every morning when you wake up, there are two ways for you to choose to live the rest of your day. One is live it in a very positive way, and the other one is to live in a very negative way. It's up to you to choose which way do you want to live, right? Anyhow, you're going to spend the day, right? For me, why do I just spend the day in a very positive way, to be in a very happy way, lots of energy, right? So that's the way I choose to live my life. And I think that should be the way that many people choose to be their life, right? You just have so these many days in your life, right? And you do not know which is the day is going to be the last day of your life, right? So that's why people say YOLO, you only live once, or live every day just like it's the last day. 这是加速了吗？那讲慢一点啊，讲慢一点。You just someone just say that you just live your everyday like your last day, right? So that's why every new day, just treat that as your, like if this is your last day, do you want to live your very last day like a day everything is so negatively? You definitely do want to live day in a very positive way. Nobody wants to be unhappy. Everyone just wants to be happy, right? Well, we have discussed a lot in life about like what's the meaning of life, right? Even though we have never discussed about that in the live stream yet, but we have discussed, I'm pretty sure like everyone has discussed about in private, personally, with your friends, with your families, what is purpose of the life. To be honest, in the at the end of the day, life has no purpose. It's pretty meaningless. But the thing is that if you can live your life happily, then we say that, well, actually your life is pretty worthwhile. So that's why like you could choose to just be very positive, be a very positive person, and positive energy will just make you happy. You could choose to be a happy person, to be a positive person, then why don't you do that? Why always negative? Why always unhappy every day? And scientific study has shown that being unhappy every day, that's just gonna make your body to be unhealthy. When you're emotionally unhappy, lots of problems will then just happen to your body, right? You start to suffer from different kind of symptoms that like happy people would not suffer. And also, like there are stories about people who has some fatal disease, but somehow because they are so positive and they have like a lot of positive energies and live every day so happy, somehow those fatal disease just get cured, or they just live longer than the doctor said, right? Life has no meaning intrinsically, humans give it one. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Every day is blessing and we should be grateful. Yeah, I should be grateful. So for example, I'm grateful for the fact that I am not disabled, right? And I'm grateful for the fact that my parents gave me a very pretty smart mind and pretty good body, like pretty good everything, right? And also I'm grateful that I am already better off than so many people when I was born, right? I was given by so many when I was born. So I definitely be very grateful for whatever I have. And with all those things I feel very grateful for, I just live every day with lots of positive energy. Just set up goals and pursue the goals. Like I set up meaning for my life and live every day as happy as possible. That's basically just what we want to do, right? My friend, don't you agree? Do you guys agree with that? Do you guys agree with that? Okay, follow me, please, if you haven't done so, my friend. Follow me, please, if you haven't done so. Okay? Yeah. I believe life has more meaning when you're with the right one, not right person, not the wrong ones. Motivation. Somehow you're really desperate and looking for someone. I can feel from the comments. So if that is really true, if you're really desperate and looking for someone, like my suggestion to you is just don't be so in a rush, okay? Just be focusing on your life. Just do not think about it, okay? So when people are so desperate, when they are so eager to get something, somehow they just don't get it. Somehow in Chinese we say that relationship all comes with 缘分. It's like, for example, when the 缘分, when the time is is up, then when the time is here, then you just even though you're sitting at home, love will just come and find you. Someone's just gonna knock on your door and just meet with you and start a relationship with you. So somehow, you know, just don't be too desperate, okay? Just don't be too desperate, because the moment you start to be desperate, you will be very different. When you, for example, when you see a woman, you will just act so differently when talking to her, and that will just make you become less attractive. So just focus on, for example, the kind of things you're really passionate about, and just focus on making yourself a better person. And when you become better, somehow like all the good things just would happen to you naturally. Curious where you base at? In Shanghai, my friend. Yeah, going with the flow. Yes. Or it attracts the wrong kind of person. Exactly, Louis the cat. Exactly. Yeah, or attracts the wrong kind of person. I have a friend, because we have discussed multiple times about the leftover women phenomenon here in China, right? So that's why like somehow we have I have some friends after they reached the age of 30, they just got so anxious, like so desperate and looking for guys. Like whenever you talk to her, like out of the conversation, 90% of the conversation was around like how am I able to find a man, you know? And somehow like whenever they become like that, I personally just find less interesting to talk to them. Like I do enjoy discussing all different kinds of topics. So on one hand, I do understand that the reason why they are so anxious, right? The why they are so desperate and looking for men. On the other hand, the reason why I want to be their friends and have a good afternoon tea discussion is not about just talking 90% and spending 90% of the time, just talking about how desperate and how anxious they are about looking for a man. So, and also, yeah, we're so grateful to have you and talk too as a positive energy. Thank you, Wesley, for saying that. Yeah, bro, I'm never desperate when it comes to women, bro. Was just saying that is great motivation. That is great. Yeah, yeah. Is there a shortage of women from the previous one child policy? Okay, that actually comes to another very big topic. Yeah, another big topic, which I am gonna share after drinking this juice. Okay. So if you look at the overall proportion of the population here in China, you will notice there are actually more men than women. So if you look at the proportion of the population of the entire nation, there is more men than women for sure. However, still, when you say that when it comes to a shortage of women, I think you're referring to about marriage, right? Right? Whether men are able to find women. So the thing is never about the population. It's always about a good match. So because of one child policy, no matter you're a girl or a boy, you're all treated as a most precious person inside the entire family. The family, I mean the family of your parents and the family of your grandparents, right? Definitely considered to be the most precious person inside the entire big families. So like no matter you're a man or a woman, nowadays, like for people of the one child generation, policy generation, people are just tend to focus more on their own feelings. So it's not a matter of whether there is shortage of women, shortage of men. It's more about like whether you're able to find the right woman for you or the right man for you. Wow, 50K, great news. Yeah, yeah, Lee the cat. Yes, I finally got 50K followers. That was my goal. I said that I set a goal to get 50K followers by the end of May, even though I did not get 50K by the end of May. However, this is like early May, right? It's only the first week of May, and I got 50K followers. I'm so happy about that. And thank you so much for everyone who's in here and everyone's support. Without your support, there's no way for me to get 50K followers. Yeah. I remember when we had 250 followers. Yeah. Yeah, you were very early in here. You were one of the very first people to follow me. Yeah, and you've always been in here, so I feel so grateful, so grateful to have you in here. you know? Yeah. Yeah, so like I am so happy to have all of you in here and you guys watch me grow, right? You guys watch me grow from like very small base of followers till today to have like 50,000 followers. I'm pretty sure we have a long journey to go and like maybe later on like for several months afterwards then we will have like 10,000 followers, right? And later on we get 50,000 followers. Then I become a big KOL, right? Big influencers to have like so many girls, right? Yeah, I remember those days, lots of rude people, right? Louis the cat. Yeah. So I feel like nowadays, maybe because I've been doing this for a long time, so like the algorithm really knows what are the type of people that should be invited to this live stream. To be honest, compared to some other like English content creators, live streamers, like I would feel like overall speaking in my live stream, I was not pushed to as many people as they are. Somehow like the kind of live stream would only be pushed to people who has a very similar vibes to our family, right? To our family. So nowadays like I don't see any people that come in here who are like very rude very often. Very rare do we see someone who's very rude to come in here. So somehow I feel like okay, that is fine. Like even though like my live stream is not pushed to as many people as like some other English content creators, overall speaking this is a very close, carefully selected community. Everyone in here are like really intelligent, has lots of knowledge, and appreciate the sharing discussion of in-depth topics and knowledge. So I really like that. So like thank you so much guys for following me, for joining our family. And we're a family, we're a community that has a long way to go. We're gonna be continue to be big families for a long time. Okay. Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you so much for raising that, Louis the cat. Yeah. You remember back in the day, right? Back in the day, I actually, when I first started doing live stream, I woke up at 4:30 a.m. and started the live at 5 a.m. and did it all the way till 10 a.m. For 5 hours of live stream. Nowadays I only do 2 hours, right? So the reason why I was able to do 5 hours is because back then I considered that was not something I'm gonna do for a long time. I thought that people coming to TikTok refugees coming to Retno would be gonna be a short phenomenon. So it was a rare opportunity for me to go talk to so many people around the world without any boundaries and get to meet so many people who are genuinely interested in knowing more about China and Chinese people. So, like, I thought that was a precious opportunity. So that's why I was extremely hardworking by waking up extremely early in the morning and had extremely long live streamings. And later on, I discovered that it was not sustainable. And I also discovered that people in here on the red note are not going to leave, so that's why I just keep on doing it and do it in a very sustainable way. So every day 2 hours from 7:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. So even though I finished the live for 2 hours, after spending already 2 hours on the live streaming, I still have the rest of my day working on my own stuff, which is terrific. Yeah, that she's a great host. What what are you talking about? T- Teacher, what's your account name? I'm not a teacher, Wendy, but that is good that you call me a teacher. So my account name on TikTok is also called Nytrix. It's Nytrix456 because I started my account on TikTok during the time that Squid Game was so popular. So it's Nytrix456, okay? Nytrix456. You will be able to find me there with the very same profile photo and follow me there as well, okay? Follow me there as well, okay? Yeah. It was Hoya who pointed out first. Pointed out what? Pointed out that I'm a great host. You leave us wanting more, Professor Nitrix. Yeah, it's so interesting that the other day we were also talking about like, hey, if you are ruler of a country, there are two ways for you to rule the country, like option A, option B. Which one do you want to do it? Something like that. Also, very in-depth discussion about like democracy, right? And someone just left a comment in the comment area say that, hey, would you run for president? I would want to vote for you, something like that. So funny. You guys are amazing. You guys are amazing. Definitely amazing. I love you guys. Does Rednote or TikTok have the most advanced algorithm? I think so. Oh no, that you had 50K followers. Hoya pointed out. I hadn't noticed. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I missed that comment. Yeah, but I only saw your comment. Somehow, thank you both of you for pointing that out. Thank you so much, my friend. Yeah. So my friend on TikTok, please follow me, okay? I think on TikTok I also reached over 20,000 followers, which is also pretty amazing. And on Red Note, I already reached 50,000 followers. Also, my Instagram account is also gaining a lot of followers as well. So very soon across the different platforms, I feel like I will get 10,000 followers, adding up all the followers on different platforms very soon. So which is pretty good. Thank you so much for all the kind of support you guys have been giving me. Yeah, careful when you wish for, because dreams do come true. Well, if dreams do come true, then I should wish for like one day I can reach 1 million followers. Okay, that's too hard to achieve. I would be more than happy to have 10,000 followers. Yeah, I'm already extremely happy to have 50,000 followers. Achieving 50,000 followers in just 3 months of time, that is pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Some people have been spending like so many years working on their social media account and yet not able to get 50,000 followers, right? And I am able to get that within just 3 months on right now. That is like pretty awesome. I'm very grateful for that already. Yeah. So, but we'll keep on doing it. Keep on having live streaming and keep on making high quality videos, posts, sharing about China, sharing about the views of mine on many stuff, so that hopefully we'll be able to reach 10,000 followers in the coming months. Yeah. So the goal is, I think, like by the end of the year, I hope to reach 100,000, not 10,000, sorry, 100,000 followers, 100,000 followers. Yeah. Uh-huh. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Louis the Cat, for sending this. The cat. That is called, how to say it? Fortune waving cat, because fortune in, wave the fortune in. Yeah. I cherish very much how Nytrix is blending the beautiful community of foreigner. Yeah. Talk about your store. Yeah, sure. Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah. Okay, so guys, just so you guys know, like for those of you who don't know, I am not a full-time host. I am entrepreneur myself. I have multiple startup projects. One of the latest startup projects I'm working on is cross-border e-commerce. So I have started a TikTok shop, a Retinol shop, and also a standalone website. And the brand name is called Alchemia. Alchemia. So if you guys do not know, you guys could go to my bio. Just go to my bio page, okay? Just go to my homepage and check my bio. That is actually easier way to do it. So the I have actually put the link of the shop in the bio, Alchemia. So inside my store, basically I'm selling all the accessories that I consider to be beautiful, like many of those accessories that I wear them during my live stream. So for example, for the previous days, I've been always wearing this pair of earrings, and a lot of people ask about like, hey, this is a beautiful earring. Like I really like it. So for this pair of earring, it is currently listed in Red Note shop. So you guys can definitely check it out. Okay. So that is my store. You guys could also go to the standalone website, which is https alchemia.love. Okay. It's alchemia.love. It would be great that you guys can show some support by placing some orders in there. So I know Mother's Day is coming. So you have to know that our accessory comes in a very good, beautiful box, a very beautiful box. So that beautiful box is will definitely consider to be a very good gift. Let me try to find the website of my yeah. So this is the address of this website, okay? So currently free shipping to the US. Currently, if you order on this website, there will be free shipping to the US, okay? HTTPS alchemia.love. Yeah. So for Chinese friends, you guys could also go to my bio for every friend. So if you guys are on Red Note, Chinese friends are on Red Note, you guys could just go to my homepage, go to my bio, go to my homepage, go to my bio, and you'll be able to find the store that is called Alchemia. And just go to Alchemia, and there are plenty of accessories for you to order from. So lots of people have commented multiple times saying that I have a good taste when it comes to accessories, right? So that is the store that I opened that sells all the accessories that I wear during the live stream. So that is the very first cross-border store that I opened, and So we're trying very hard to start some business from there. So later on, we have actually a pretty big blueprint. We have a pretty big blueprint when it comes to the startup project. So this will be the very first thing we start selling, doing e-cross border commerce. Okay, so you guys don't need to worry anything about quality. The design, well, if you agree with my taste, then definitely just go check it out. Quality wise, don't worry about it. Pretty sure it's a very good quality. Yeah. So because it's not like from some random sourcing factories, it's a sourcing from one of their very close business partners. So quality wise, is pretty good. So definitely go check it out. Currently available for people in US and also in China. So Chinese friends can place order on Red Note Shop. Okay, Red Note Shop. And how you're able to find the shop is go to my homepage, see my bio, see my bio. In my bio there is a place that is called, that I actually um I have mentioned the store name. Okay, Alchemia. Yeah. I'm still figuring out how am I able to add all those kind of items to my haven't really noticed how to add the items to my Nytrix homepage. Haven't figured that out yet. But today, like, people are back to work, so that's why I'm able to check with the people officially from the Red Note team to see what's the problem behind that, how we're able to do that, so that people without the need to go to Alchemia store, they can just place order directly under my page. Okay, so Chinese friend, Chinese girls or Chinese guys who has a beautiful girlfriend or beautiful mom, you guys can actually place order directly from Red Nose Shop. Okay, Red Nose Shop. Red Nose Shop. And how you're able to find the Red Nose Shop is just go to my homepage, check the bio. Under the bio, I actually mentioned the store name called Alchemia. Okay, just go there and check it. 这里没有商店链接，我就是刚刚因为刚还开始做嘛，所以就是还没有太搞清楚这个怎么样把这个链接给添加进来。因为今天那个上班了嘛，所以今天我会去找小红书里边的人去问一下，到底怎么样去操作，得让他们教我一下。就我们这个五一期间没有搞明白怎么去弄，所以福多多瑶瑶，你可以直接去那个，你就去到我的主页，在我的主页，在我的这个介绍那一边，介绍栏里边，我有圈，就是我有我自己的那个商店的那个名字，你就到那边去找。因为我记得你之前有问过，你说这个耳环特别好看嘛，对吧？这个很好看，你就直接去到我的主页，你看到有一个就是 @alchemy，就点进去，点进去就会去到另外一个账号，在那个账号里边就有很多的这个商品，你就可以直接在这个商品里边看。你如果喜欢这个耳环，就可以直接下单，它就可以发给你了。中国宝宝们其实下单很容易，是在那个小红书店铺里边就可以了。And for friends on TikTok, you guys could also do that. So I also attached the link in my TikTok bio page. Okay, so we have also opened the TikTok shop. So you guys could just go to my bio page. You'll be able to first of all find the TikTok shop, and then also at the same time, you would also be able to see the link that will lead you to the standalone website. Alternatively, for my friends in the US, you guys could also just go to this website directly. Okay, alchemia.love, alchemia.love. Okay, just go there, and free shipping, free shipping. Everything you see is going to be the price you pay. Okay, everything is on discount for sure. Right, everything is in discount, and then just place an order, free shipping to everywhere in the USA. Okay, free shipping to everywhere in the USA. Okay, of course, free shipping to China as well, my friend. Yeah. So currently we start from USA and China, and once everything is running smoothly, then we'll expand to other countries. Okay, so we will expand to other countries and also expand to other products. Other products, like definitely not gonna stop on accessories alone. We'll definitely expand to some other products as well. Yeah. Reno shop is not in English. It is in English if you add the address, Cali Boy. Okay, so basically you could just so Cali Boy R, you could just do one thing. Okay, so first of all, find my account in on Rednote. My account on Rednote is called Nytrix with the same profile photo. Just search for Nytrix and follow me there. And then you'll be able to find my latest post. Okay, even though it's about talking about like Amazon, somehow in the later part of that video, I actually shared with people how to shop in the Red Nose shop. Okay. So in the Red Nose shop, so Red Nose shop nowadays also allowed people from the US, from Hong Kong and Macau to shop in there as well. But somehow there is still in the beta testing mode. I feel like lots of areas to improve. I've already given lots of suggestions to the Red Note team, asking them to improve on that. So if you want everything to be shown in English, you will first need to add your address for example, your USA address in there, and then everything will automatically just be in English. So how you're able to add your address, just go check my video. It's pretty easy. Just go to your me page and click the shop. There's a button called shop. Click the shop and the top part, just scroll right, and there's a button called address at the very end. Just click the address and then add your US address in it. Once you add your address in it, the store will then turn immediately into the US version. You'll be able to see all the products that is available to be shipped to the US. And they also did something like they show the price in Chinese, because you guys will be able to enjoy the very same price as all the Chinese people, domestic people. So if we buy this lipstick at the 200 yuan, then you guys are gonna buy it very the same price. The difference is that on top of that, you guys also need to pay for the shipping cost. Okay, but how much you're gonna pay for the very same thing is gonna be very same. So you could do some price calculation, right? For example, after adding the shipping cost, is the total cost still cheaper than where you're enjoying in your country? If yes, then just place an order in Red Note. So I sincerely do hope like Red Note's like shop can work well. Yeah. So that's also how I my shop can be successful as well, right? That's a new channel, right? Is there a site for men's accessory? Not yet, Uncle Deck. um, well, men's accessory. What kind of accessory do men wear? To be honest, I'm not so sure about that. Like, I don't notice men wear a lot of accessory. So, like, I'm not so sure what kind of accessory do men wear. Maybe Uncle Deck, you can tell me what kind of accessory like men wear. We can consider expanding to that market. So even though like not a lot of men wear accessories, but I'm pretty sure there's market out there. So if we are able to find the market and just target this market, then I'm pretty sure there's an area that we can find business opportunities out there. Yeah，好自信的女生，哈哈，谢谢你啊，我也确实是一个很自信的人。Yeah. Okay, guys, it's almost night. Time to tap the screen to send in likes. Time to tap in the screen to send in likes, and time to follow me if you haven't done so. And as if possible, join my team. Join my team. Okay. So how are you able to join my team? Is once after you have followed me, just tap the heart button above again to follow to join my team. And also for those of you who could also send me some yellow tickets on Red Note, which is by pressing down below, there's a button called 互动 interaction. And by doing that, you're able to do that. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, follow me. 来，我们今天来发个红包吧，来试看发个小红包。30分钟内消耗鼠币。诶，这个怎么发红包呀？又有点发不来了。想说给你们发一个红包呢。啊，拨红包，任务券。Oh, I'm always so confused with all kind of things on this platform. Okay, I'll need to try to figure it out later after the live. Anyhow, yeah. But guys, it's Nai. Thank you so much for your support. If you had any references for earrings that are tailored for men, please share. Oh, okay. Men's earring market is also a big market out there, right? Okay, interesting to know. Uh-huh. Okay. Oh yeah, today is your birthday, right? Oh yeah? Yeah, very soon it's gonna be my birthday too. Happy birthday, Jehoya. Yeah. Happy birthday. And family, can we please all just wish Hoya happy birthday? Happy birthday. Yeah, let's do this. Okay, since we're all a family, right? We're all family and we're a very close community. So whenever, like for example, today is your birthday, just tell us in the comment, and like everyone else, we just wish the person happy birthday. Okay, so today is Hoya's birthday, so everyone please say happy birthday to Hoya. And if there is a birthday, say for example, if another day, if tomorrow is your birthday, also say in the comment, and then we will say happy birthday. The entire family will then say happy birthday to you as well, right? Okay, happy birthday, Jehoiah. Happy birthday. Okay, just so you know that on TikTok there are also a lot of people saying happy birthday to you, so it's a good community in here. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna say who are saying happy birthday to you. Right. Yeah, Lynn is saying happy birthday to you. Wesley is saying happy birthday. Angeli 52 is saying happy birthday to you. Oh, it's your birthday too, Angeli. Okay, so everyone is also saying happy birthday to you. Okay, so there's someone else who's also having her happy birthday as well in here. Uncle Jack is saying happy birthday to you, Hoya, and also to Angie Lee. Oh, fantastic. I love this community so much. I love this community so much. Yeah. Are you in China? Yes, I'm in Shanghai, my friend. Gilbert Morris, I'm in Shanghai. Yeah. Mine is in 2 days. Oh, another Taurus. Okay, in 2 days' time, we're gonna wish you happy birthday. And in let me see, if 5 days' time, you guys already need to wish me happy birthday. Yeah. Okay. Konnichiwa. Oh, no, no, not konnichiwa. I'm not Japanese, my friend. Oh, puppy. Konnichiwa is Japanese. I am not Japanese. Mhm. Uh, yeah. Good to see all of you in here. Yeah. Fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah. Yeah, you have to say ni hao. Oh, you remember that, Wesley. Remember my birthday? Okay, so what's the anything since we have been talking about birthday, right? What's the something special that you guys would do on birthday in your culture? Yeah. Yeah, someone also said happy birthday, Angeli. Angeli. So you Angeli, just so you know, on Red Note, there are plenty of people out there wishing you happy birthday as well. Yeah, since we talk about happy birthday, like maybe we can also share a little bit what's the kind of culture in your country to celebrate happy birthday, to celebrate birthday. Yeah. So here in China, nowadays we just use the Western way to celebrate happy birthday. For example, whenever someone has birthday, we would just go out and have a dinner together, and we'll buy a cake and put a candle on it. So if the kid is small, then what's the age? Then will be how many candles? For example, if the kid is like 5 years old, then will be like 5 candles, right? If it's like 6 years old, then 6 candles. However, the time when you reach the age around 10 or actually above 8, then there will be not like 10 candles on the cake because there will be just going to be too many candles, right? They nowadays like they would just use either one candle or there's like a number candle. For example, a number candle on it that writes like 10 or like 12, right? And that's how we celebrate like birthday with friends and families. So people here would sing the birthday song. Okay, so the birthday song is very same as the birthday song you sing in English. It's also happy birthday to you, but here we sing it in Chinese way. It's like 祝你生日快乐, like very same, very same. It's just like in Chinese, and we would sing the song. After we sing the song, then the person, the birthday king or the birthday queen, will have to make a wish, and after he or she made a wish, blow the candle, and then afterwards, so he or she will have to be the first one to use a knife to cut the cake, and afterwards like everyone started eating the cake. So basically that's all like that. Yeah, is that the very same thing in your culture to celebrate birthday? Is that the very same thing in your culture to celebrate birthday? In Polish, we take member to restaurant and he or she eat for free and of course gift time. Oh yes, gift time as well, right? Well, so gift time is more around like friends' birthday party. But when it's family birthday party, mostly I feel like we just go out and eating. So birthday gifts, there will also be good birthday gifts. It's usually just before birthdays or after usually before birthdays. Like some intimate family members will ask, hey, what's your birthday wish? Is there anything you want? I'm just gonna buy something for you as your gift. It's not like, oh, here's the gift during the dinner and bring it to you, and all the gift is wrapped. Like we don't usually just wrap the gift, we just give the gift. Unless like the family gatherings to celebrate birthday, then we treat everything very seriously. Then we would wrap the gift and give the gift to the birthday king or queen. So somehow like if it's families, then okay, so oh you want a toy? Okay, buy you a toy, and there's nothing like wrapped gifts and something like that. Yeah. Pretty much the same here in the US, right? Pretty much exactly how it is in the US. Yeah, same. So I feel like nowadays, like here in China, we celebrate the birthday in the very same way as the Western way. So in ancient China, like when we celebrate birthday, it's for example, people just celebrate it in a way that families just still like get together and have a big dinner. That's all. Traditional Chinese birthday does not have like a cake because cake is a pretty Western thing, right? Chinese people do not have birthday cake. And so traditionally Chinese people just get together and 长寿面, yeah, that's right. So like we would eat noodles for birthday. We would eat noodles for birthday because noodles, if you think about noodles, right, noodle is so long, right? So we call it longevity noodle. Longevity noodles by eating the noodles. So there's also saying that best to cook the noodle so that there's only one noodle, but the noodle is so long it can be one soup, one bowl of noodles. You just have to eat everything all in once, you know, because it means like longevity. So by eating the longevity noodles, like even though you have another year, you become another year older, but you're gonna live a very long life, something like that. It's a pretty Chinese tradition, yeah. But it's not a must. Somehow I feel like to celebrate birthday nowadays, like having a cake is almost like a must, but like eating longevity noodle is not like something a must. Yeah. But make sure you don't let it side off. Oh, what does that mean? Because it will slip away in one go. Oh, actually, I do not know that tradition. I do not know that tradition. But here in Shanghai, I don't think we have that. Yeah. Okay, but that's very interesting. Yeah. So do people really kung fu fight? So it's so interesting. Like it's also a stereotype in many foreigners' mind that somehow Chinese people all know how to fight in kung fu. We all do kung fu. No, that's not right, my friend. Many people do not know kung fu. For example, right? For me, I don't do kung fu. 不是 tradition 啊，是吗？那你说的是啥呀？那你说的是啥？Yeah, I'm coming to China July. Welcome, my friend. Welcome to China. Yeah, yeah. I don't really celebrate birthdays more, get something or do an activity. It really depends. For example, for girls, especially after the age of 20, sometimes people say that I just really hate birthday because 1 year's birthday, like I'm just getting 1 year older, like my 20 year period is going to be shorter, right? Something like that. So somehow like girls, many girls really hate celebrating birthday after they reach the age of 20. Nitrous, be careful. The last time you were coughing like you were got really sick. Oh, thank you, Hoya. I'm pretty good. It's just that I was a little bit choked because of the juice. Lots of fibers in there. So yeah, a little bit. I'm pretty all okay. Yeah, don't worry about me. But thank you so much. Hmm? Is the Great Wall always crowded? If you want to visit the Great Wall, then best to visit there during weekdays. During weekdays, not on public holidays. For example, we just had our May Labor Day holiday, right? It was like 5 days off. For the May Labor holidays, if you go everywhere, if it's like popular scenic spot, then for sure there are just a lot of people. Everywhere it would be just so crowded. Okay, so I'm pretty sure on Labor Day holiday, public holidays, if you go to Great Wall, then it will be so crowded, full of people. So for foreigners, if you guys come to China to visit in here, right, you guys can pick up the time to visit the most popular scenic spots. Then just go on a weekday. Just go on a weekday, a random weekday, no public holidays. Definitely check that. Just make sure that is so important. Just don't come to China for traveling during public holiday because here in China, during public holiday, all the Chinese people are basically traveling as well. So no matter where you go, you don't see the scenic spot. You basically just see people. If you consider that's also a fun thing to see, then you can also come in here during public holiday to see all the crowded people, right? Yeah. Everything okay with Canadian tourists to travel around? Yeah, everything okay. Canadian people are very welcome in here, so don't worry about that. Just come in. Just come. Yeah. Do you know any Shaolin monks? No, I don't. How how will I know any Shaolin monks? No, for sure I don't. But definitely go check it out. You can go to Shaolin monks and learn some kung fu. I can tell you're pretty interested in knowing more about kung fu, right? Kung fu is pretty cool, my friend. Kung fu is really cool. Yeah. Go to Shaolin Temple and see their monks really perform like kung fu in a very very intense way. So definitely check it out. Yeah, during holidays people go crazy. Yeah, and also like during holidays, like when it's a domestic traveling in China, like everywhere is crowded. You go to some other like popular scenic spot in the world, also very crowded. So for example, May Labor's Day, I'm pretty sure lots of people would go to Japan, so Japan would be full of Chinese people, and also some other place as well. Yeah, I like Ip Man kung fu style. Yeah, there are different kind of kung fu styles here in China, so watched the movie, right? So different kind of movie stars in China has played in Ip Man. Yeah. Ah, you know Shaolin Temple in which province, right? Good, good. Yeah. Mhm. China has a lot to offer, a lot of interesting stuff to offer. So the other day, there's someone asked like, how come Japan is so much nicer than than China? Like, I just strongly disagree. I feel like, well, I would also say Japan is pretty interesting country. However, I would feel like each country has their own unique style, has their own thing to offer. So I would not say like one country is better than the other one. I would not say that. Yeah. Mexico loves Japan. It's good that you guys love Japan, but I'm from China, my friend. I'm not from Japan. I'm not from Japan. I'm from China. Okay. So, do you guys love China? Do you guys love China? Every country has its own unique, special, diverse culture and people. Exactly. 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 Yeah. So, Japan has great food, great culture, as well. But like lots of the culture is very different from Chinese culture. Yeah, I think I do. Personally, I do consider like Chinese culture to be more inclusive. Even more. That's fantastic. See Daniel. See Daniel. Yeah. So I think like the Chinese culture overall speaking is more inclusive, and Chinese people. So I think like in the bottom of Chinese people, we have the kind of mindset that we always want to offer the very best to others. Always want to offer the very best to others. So that's why whenever you see Chinese products, well, the Chinese products we sold to overseas is actually better than the products that we actually are selling in here. So, however, Japan is the other way around. So that's why, for example, Japan is very famous for producing like cosmetic stuff, right? They have lots of skincare products, right? So they say that if you purchase skincare products, even though it's the very same brand, if you go to Japan locally to purchase it, the quality of the skincare products is better than the kind of products you purchase in the airport, in the stores in other countries elsewhere, because they leave the very best to themselves. Yeah. So for example, that is quite different. So that's why like Chinese people sometimes say like we need to learn Japanese, like to always leave the best to ourselves rather than always leave the very best to others. Yeah. Is Shaolin Temple in Henan? Yes, it is. It is, my friend. It is. Yeah, it is in Henan. Mhm. Kyoto is fascinating. Yeah, Kyoto is fascinating. I agree. Kyoto is very so Kyoto has lots of beautiful temples. Has lots of beautiful temples. Even though like this most famous temple is called not so sure about Japanese or English, but in Chinese we call it 清水寺. But I have friends like living in Kyoto. So like he showed us a lot of the places that only locals would visit. So we actually visited those kind of local temples. Like lots of temples are even more beautiful than Tingshui, the most famous one. But then they are like smaller. However, like you walk into it everywhere. I have to say, like I've been to the temples in Japan and also been to the temples here in China. Personally, I do prefer the temples in Japan. Somehow the temple in Japan is not only about like Buddhism, like visiting all the Buddhas. They also would spend lots of efforts on decorating the entire temple, focusing on the garden design and also the interior design. So, for example, you go into a Japanese temple, right? Inside the garden, they would have like all sorts of flowers and different colors, and you feel like it's so good for your eyes, right? Because the flowers, when they are like with each other in different colors, they're so beautiful. So there's definitely some like kind of taste when it comes to matching the color of the flowers. So, for example, if it's like pink blue, then you match with like pink red, something like that. Overall speaking, it becomes like so beautiful. And also they would shape the flower and shape the tree, like it's all like an art. And also when it comes to the temple, when you walk really inside the temple, there's also some gardening and some architecture and Japanese gardening out there. So that's why, like, whenever you are inside the temple, when you look out of the door, you also see everything like a photo. It's very beautiful. And somehow, because it's a temple, when you walk into it, you also feel a lot of serenity. Like you just feel like your body is so calmed down. Like me and my husband, when we visited one of the temples in Kyoto, the moment when we walked out of temple, both of us felt this very magic power, the kind of power in us that made us feel like so peaceful. Like we can feel like deep down in our heart, everything is so peaceful once we were inside the temple and walked out of the temple. It was like pretty fascinating. Yeah. The Golden Pavilion 有名字吗？我忘了那个寺叫啥一个寺，反正那边有好几个寺都其实是很好的。我当时有这个当地的朋友推荐给我。对，so I feel like that's something that our Chinese temple needs to learn from. So the Chinese temple is pretty just simple, just a temple. For a majority of the temple, just temple, and they focus a lot more on the sculpture, right, rather than on the gardening. So yeah. Hello, Rolf. Hi, everyone. Hi, guys. Have you guys followed me? If not so, please follow me. Are there similarities between Japanese and Chinese and Japanese languages? Yes, there are. There are, my friend. True blue. There are. So, like, for example, lots of the characters in Japanese is very same as the characters we write in traditional Chinese. Okay, so I have shared multiple times here. Nowadays in China, we have traditional Chinese and simplified Chinese. They pronounce the very same, just the writing are different. Traditional Chinese are like more complicated. Simplified Chinese, by its meaning, it's simplified. It's simplified from the traditional Chinese. Okay, so they are simplified, so that's why that they are easier to write and easier to read. So people in mainland China, we use simplified Chinese. People in Taiwan, in Hong Kong, in Macau, they use traditional Chinese. Okay, so that's basically the difference. Simplified Chinese and traditional Chinese, usually we are able to read each other. So people who understand traditional Chinese could also read simplified Chinese. Simplified Chinese people could also read traditional Chinese. So lots of the Japanese characters, they are very same to the traditional Chinese. For example, when we visited Japan, when we did our driving, we will notice lots of the what's it called? This the signs, right? All the signs on the road that tells you what you know what. Be careful. Be careful. Be slow in driving, something like that. All those things, even though they were written in Japanese, but we have no problems reading them because the Japanese characters are very similar to the traditional Chinese characters where we write the very same sentence. Yeah, I noticed that a lot. Yeah. I'd point to the stuff on ice and this beautiful would cook it. What are you talking about? Japanese kanji, 日本的汉字对吧？还有韩国的汉字也是的。Also, if you look at Korean, so even though Korean nowadays also do those like very simplified ways of writing Korean, right? But Korean people, if you look at their Korean drama, especially those historical Asian drama, Korean people also write traditional Chinese. Traditional Chinese, also in traditional Chinese, like the very same characters that we write here in China. So I feel like Japan, Korea, and China, when it comes to writing, like we share many things in common. Share many things in common. Yeah，变形汉字等于日本汉字。OK，这块我没有研究过，好博学啊，Ray。Yeah. Because the writing culture and way of doing things are very similar, just slightly different. Really, yeah. So overall speaking, the Asian culture when it comes to Korea, Japan, and China is pretty similar. So, for example, the other day we were discussing about that, somehow the Western way of communicating and also the Asian way of communicating with people, right? The Asian way of talking to people is like pretty indirect, right? For example, I have shared in one of the videos, right? So, for example, if there's a circle, so the Chinese way of getting into the circle is like this, and then get to the circle. And the Western way is like this, like very direct. When you say something, you mean something. But here in Asia, when we say something, we don't mean something. You have to always guess the meaning behind what you're saying, right? So it's that's a very different culture, but the culture between like the Asian cultures are very same, very similar. So that's why like whenever we watch those Japanese movies or Korean movies, we do get their culture like better than Westerners, I think. Yeah. Korean use traditional Chinese when it comes to titles. Yeah. So like for example, even though nowadays, like when it comes to something like very serious occasion, for example, when they have to fill in a government official form to write their name, they also need to write their name in traditional Chinese, something like that, I feel. Yeah. 日本汉字的含义跟正宗汉字的意思是一样的。Oh, okay. Ray was sharing here that the Japanese kanji, well, actually, the meaning of Japanese kanji is exactly same as our traditional Chinese. So that's why we say that Japanese actually borrowed Chinese into their culture. Yeah. So the other day there was someone said that China stealed Japanese writing. That's not true. That's the other way around. Yeah. Well, I'm kind of Asian at times and Western and both according to the situation. What are you talking about? Motivation? Wait, so are you so when it comes to ethnicities, are you Chinese? Are you like what country originally are you? Yeah. Why are there Chinese immigrants to USA if China is already good? Okay, Tyken. Well, even though you've been in my live stream for a long time, but that question is a little bit is a little bit extreme, okay? People immigrate to other countries for all sorts of reasons. For all sorts of reasons, right? For example, hmm, well, how am I able to answer that question? There are so many different ways to answer it. Yeah. Hi, my friend. I I don't know how to pronounce your name, but somehow like welcome in here. I see your hello. Okay. Yeah, so first of all, like no country is perfect, right? So for example, some country must be good at something, some country must be good at something else, right? For example, some people consider USA to has a better education system, then they would want to immigrate to the USA because they want their children to have higher education, a better education, something like that, right? Also, because some people would immigrate to USA because, for example, the kind of industry they work at has more opportunities in the US than in China. There are all sorts of reasons, right? For example, nowadays, there are lots of like Web3 people that would migrate to Singapore, try to apply for a Singaporean citizenship. Not because China is not good. They really like China. It's just that the entire Web3 industry is pretty restricted here in China, right? So because of the job, then they have to immigrate to other countries, right? So it's not like so extreme. Oh, if the country is so good, then why would their people want to migrate to some other country? Sometimes people admit that this country is great. It's just that for their own personal reasons, they need to immigrate to some other country. Also, for example, someone just fall in love with someone in the US, then they want to get married to the person out there, they would also immigrate to the US, right? So there are so many reasons, really case by case scenario. It's really case by case scenario. You would also notice lots of people are moving to China. It's extremely hard to get Chinese citizenship, but there are people just moving to China to live in here, right? There are just people moving in here to live in here, and not maybe not because their country is not so good, just because they just want to move in here to live in here, right? Malaysia have a high percentage of ethnic Chinese. That is so true. I know like so many Malaysian people speak like fluent Chinese, and I really like Malaysian people. Malaysian people, like in my impression, are pretty polite. Yeah. Nytrix, what's your opinion about global warming? I just hoped that it happens slower, less global warming, so the polar bear can have more land to live on. But I have to be also very honest with you. I did not pay a lot of attention to global warming. So it's like, so because since we were little, we were educated a lot about global warming, right? It's in our textbook that global warming was a severe problem. So in our daily lives, there are many things we need to do to make sure that we need to make sure that we would be aware of global warming and try to do something that would prevent global warming to happen faster. So, like in my daily lives, I would also do many things to somehow not to prevent from global warming. For example, use public transportation a lot. Whenever I go out, whenever I can ride a bike, I just ride a bike instead of having a taxi or drive, right? So something like that. Yeah, but to be very honest with you, that's not the kind of topic that I focus a lot on. Yeah. China is contributing so much to the development of solar power. Yeah, solar power and also electric power. So these are the kind of power because China's solar power. I remember reading the data, right? The cost of solar power has dropped significantly over the past decades. I don't really remember the exact data, but somehow the solar power's cost dropped by like many times. So somehow the solar power was so that, for example, I also share a lot about high-speed rail train, right? The reason why high-speed rail train, like China expanding, building so many high-speed rail train every year, even though it's losing money every year, is because we're betting on the fact that one day in the future it will make money when electricity costs become so low. Yeah, using those solar energy, those like the renewable energy. Yeah, and also the EV cars, everything right here in China. So solar panels, very cool and very innovative. Yeah. China is number one for taking care of the environment because we have this goal. So we have this goal that we must reach carbon neutral by the year 2060. That is pretty aggressive goal to reach carbon neutral. So it's hard because China is pretty hard, carbon heavy country. We are I'm not so sure whether we're a number one coal mining country, but definitely the top ranking when it comes to coal mining. And especially when in winter time, we burn lots of coals. So like it's definitely hard for China to reach carbon zero carbon emission by the year of 2060. So that's why like these several years, right? If you think about 2060, that is like not many years away. So China has been working extremely hard to develop our renewable energy systems so that one day in the future, hopefully, we can reach carbon neutral very soon. Yeah. Otherwise, like we don't reach carbon neutral, then somehow like we will be penalized for many things. Like also when it comes to global trade, then we will then give lots of Westerners the excuse to blame China for not following the rules, not to reach the carbon zero emission. And then when we do global trades, then we will have lots of disadvantages. People will just blame that. We'll just say that, you know what, you haven't really reached the goal. So in order to penalize that, we're not going to do lots of a trade like usual. We're not going to give you lots of good policies as usual. So China do have lots of burden, lots of pressure when it comes to reaching the zero carbon emission goal. Yeah. Does China sea neutral includes the world factory part? I don't think so. I don't think it's. I think it only talks about within China. Yeah, I think it only talks about within China. If you talk about the world factory part, then that would be too much. That would be too much. Yeah, but I haven't really looked into the policy, so I'm not so sure. Not 100% sure about that. Okay. Okay, guys, it's 9:30. So happy to see all of you guys again today. Another wonderful 2 hours today. Another wonderful 2 hours today. Yeah. Carbon zero, do you realize that almost everything on earth is made of carbon? So it's Dalton, right? Dalton, just go search what does carbon zero mean. Okay, what does zero carbon emission mean? Okay, I'm pretty sure you do not know the definition of that, so just look for it. I'm not going to explain it because I have really need to leave. Okay, so just search for what does carbon zero emission mean, then you would notice that your question is not valid. Okay. So thank you so much for coming to the live stream today. Another great day having so many of you. And we have reached 50,000 followers today. Yay. And it's all because of your support that I am able to reach this fantastic goal. And thank you so much. Our next goal is 100,000 followers. Okay. The next goal is 100,000 followers. I'm pretty sure we will be able to reach that very soon with the support from all of you. Okay. So hopefully to see you again tomorrow. 7:30 to 9:30 a.m. China time, which is 2 hours before now. That's the usual time I would have my live stream. So thank you so much again for coming to my live stream and have a nice day. Bye bye, my friend.